It's no longer the tail wagging the head, it is head which has taken charge. Nitish has to live with that. In politics, everything is fair, like in war. So things are fair as long as they're fair, but then when they turn ugly, it could be very ugly. I'm sure neither BJP nor Mr. Narendra Modi are going to forget any of the personal remarks he made earlier. Maybe it's a payback time.
Hello and welcome. I'm Srinivasan and this is Talking Sense with Srini. We're joined by Editor-in-Chief Srinivasan and we'll be discussing Nitish Kumar and his so-called Sushasana governance as he takes oath as Bihar's Chief Minister for a record 10th time. Thanks very much, sir. Let me begin with you. Nitish is back on the chair, but how much political capital do you think he's got this time?
Yeah, it's a very tough question, and I'm sure Nitish himself is wondering how he's going to run the next 5 years. See, let's rewind back. When he started his thing in 2005, he had an excellent run, Nitish Babu. But that time he wanted complete freedom from BJP. Though they were in alliance, he said, look, I'll have complete freedom the way I want to run. And he ran the government the way he wanted to. And that is where the whole Sushasana Babu name also came, because those 5-10 years, it was his own. But again in 2010, he kept out Narendra Modi. And then, he was not campaigning for the elections. He said, Ek Modi kafi hai, which means I'm alone to campaign for Bihar. I don't need a Modi. And he has been pretty acerbic in his remarks about Modi. And then what happened in 2013, after being nearly 17 years, he kind of broke away and then formed a government with RJD. So then later he came back. So he has gone through lots of ups and downs, and the relationship with BJP has been quite checkered, And now you have to see what happens, whether he's able to maintain that kind of relationship, because I'm sure neither BJP nor Mr. Narendra Modi are going to forget any of the personal remarks he made earlier, or any of the kind of insults which he heaped on BJP will be forgotten, because maybe it's a payback time. In politics, everything is fair, like in war. So things are fair as long as they're fair, but then when they turn ugly, it could be very ugly. So we have to really see how it goes now. And it's not going to be a smooth sailing for Nitish, despite having a large support of 85 MLAs.
Yeah.
So this mandate has also been, a kind of, instead of enjoying his riches, he'll be seriously contemplating where it has landed him, because BJP has 89 seats and he has 85 seats.
Yeah.
Both got,
Almost equal.
Equal number of seats. Almost, yeah. BJP has got more. But Nitish cannot now imagine of splitting the party or going away from, he cannot go anywhere, because he is not in a position to be a kingmaker now, which is the thing he used to enjoy earlier. So it's going to be pretty difficult for him this season, which is the familiar term which is used in nowadays.
Yeah.
So how is he going to handle his government? It's going to be pretty interesting.
So if you really look at Nitish beyond his politics, how do you rate his 20 years of Sushasana governance? Because Prime Minister Modi, even in his victory speech, said this is a victory for Sushasana governance. So he's been seen as some kind of a poster boy of good governance. So how do you rate his 20 years in politics?
50-50, that's how I would say. Because I think his first decade of when he took over, he did try to change many things. And he did attempt many things in his own way. He brought in women to center stage. He announced prohibition, though many people said that is not going to work. Women were pretty happy with him because it reduced domestic violence. Law and order improved quite a bit, because what happened was earlier, what they now call as Jungle Raj, during RJD regime, there was a lot more, ransom cases. And in a way, it came down during his period. Also, he did welfare programs for school children. Basically, he started applying his mind for, improvement of, social development of his people. So that enrollment could increase in school and colleges. So he started paying attention to many of these things which are not there. The other thing is, socially, he was also able to mobilize the economically weaker section and socially weaker sections, because Nitish on his own doesn't have a backing of a strong, a dominant caste or a dominant group of people.
Yeah.
Because he himself, being a Kurmi, a very small
He's an
percentage
OBC
of
community.
voters, and so he could mobilize EBCs, he could mobilize also minorities in his earlier regime, and then he could form a coalition, which is a very unique, which could take on the upper caste domination, and kind of a new formula which he brought in, and therefore he could give them some power. So that's why even when he quit briefly, he made Jitan Ram Manjhi, who later formed the party called Hum, the chief minister, though he was for a brief period, but he could give them some kind of an empowerment. Then when he came back, he became CM again. That's a different story. But he gave them lots of hope. So he, in a way, transformed many of these things in his first, let's say, first outing. In his second outing, in the later part of his regime, when he allied with BJP, things began to change. And if you were to look back in the run-up to this election, there are a lot of allegations of corruption. Not against Nitish personally. Nitish still
Nitish is
kept
Kotri.
himself above all this, but then people around him, and especially the deputy chief minister who was from BJP, the BJP state chief, a number of others faced allegations of various kinds. Charges of corruption, charges of a whole lot of things which Nitish personally won't like and won't encourage. Then he had to kind of look the other way, or had to tolerate or to go with it, because he had no other way. And then Nitish also didn't manage many things which was expected after he extended his support to the center, that there would be a special package for, Bihar, and then Bihar would see some rapid economic development. None of that came. Though he did bring some amount of infrastructure, the roads are far better than what it used to be 2-3 decades ago. So there are credits to Nitish, but then it ran out of course by the time he finished his 20 years.
Also, there's a lot of emphasis on jobs. Obviously, Bihar needs a lot of jobs. No second thoughts about it. But there's also a lot of freebies as well. Are these not going to be stressing the finances out there for the state? Because, how realistic do you think these promises are?
Yeah, so when the announcements were made in the run-up to elections, it was estimated that whole of that is going to cost about 7 lakh crores, which is very stiff. And then the fiscal deficit, which in the last year's budget is pretty high. Then it's nearly double of what they wanted to under FRBM rule. So they have a tough fiscal situation staring them. And Nitish has another major challenge. Is going to come in next 5 months because the 10,000 rupees loan, which is given as Pradhan Mantri, Mukhyamantri
Mahila
Rozgar Yojana, the next installment, which is
the remaining,
the remaining, which is should be about 90,000 or about 1,90,000.
Yeah.
Even if it comes in installment, he may have to prepare for that amount in next 5 months, because 1 month is already
because
gone.
Maharashtra wasn't able to do that.
He wasn't able to do, and they ran into trouble. So he has to ensure those finances are in place. And then he has a number of other challenges which he has to face. So it's going to be fiscally pretty tough. See, one of the things which, of course, Prashant Kishore lost the election, but he kept on promising that one of the slogans he said was, I would ensure that people don't go out of Bihar finding jobs. I will ensure that all of them get jobs. And the voter turnout was also very high this time as compared to all other voter turnout in last 70 years, as they say. So there was an expectation that with this kind of high voter turnout, there's going to be a change. But what people delivered there was a status quo. Now, and there are two sides to it. One is BJP, of course, says that, look, it is our development model and double engine, Modi plus Nitish, which has worked. These are statements which they are making, and then now they're justifying, saying that's the reason why we have done so well in elections. The other question always remains: is it 10,000 rupees which worked for women, or as a section of a small section may, at least Congress party and others are refusing to believe in the outcome itself. So this election has gone through these ups and downs, but the bottom line is Nitish, once these elections are won, he has to take the state forward, and he has to ensure that the development agenda set by him in the manifesto and the other things are implemented, and that's going to be a challenge. See, please remember, what is the revenue source of Bihar? Like we have an economist earlier in our show who was talking about Bihar and said, look, they stand on two legs. One is remittance and the second is grants. Remittance of Bihari workers who go outside in other
Outside the
states,
state.
outside the state, and work and bring money. Largely, these are earlier they were in farm sector laborers. Now, then it spread to construction and also some white collar jobs, but largely very low paying jobs. So, but it's a remittance economy. It is believed that even in villages, 1/3 of villages are, household incomes are based on this. And the next comes from various grants, which the center gives. So, in this situation, when Prashant Kishore has given a dream to people of Bihar that, look, you don't need to find job outside. And many of them probably thought that things would change. The double engine Sarkar is coming back. How is he going to meet those, expectations is another big question. So it's going to be quite a job cut out for Nitish this time.
At least by going with the tally, what has happened, and in the Bihar elections, JDU doesn't seem like the dominant party right now. It's a Bharatiya Janata Party there, even though they are the deputy chief ministers. But how much freedom do you think Nitish would certainly have as chief minister this time?
Well, BJP is going to be dominant. In the previous term, though BJP had more seats, much more than JD, even then, BJP wasn't so dominant. They had two deputy chief ministers, and it was Nitish who was still calling the shots, but not the way he wanted. Because his government was hampered, but still he could do a lot more. But this time, BJP is going to dominate. There are already signs of it, like in the formation of the entire cabinet. Apparently, there was a last-minute solution was forced because BJP didn't budge. JD wanted the speaker's post along with the home ministers.
That's right.
So they were asked to retain home ministry, but then BJP kept the speaker's post with them. The two deputy chief ministers of BJP are back. In fact, Paswan was very interested in having at least one deputy CM, and he wasn't given a chance. So it's basically the way the cabinet constitution happened. A large number of ministers, 16 coming from BJP and 14 from JD. So in every thing already there are signs of BJP
Getting involved, yeah.
dominant. It's no longer the tail wagging the head. It is head which has taken charge. Nitish has to live with that. And then there are a number of other things with Nitish he'll have to face, being an ex-socialist and very moralistic posturing in the past. He will have to live with many things. See, Nitish has said all along and maintained that he doesn't believe in dynasty, and therefore there is no dynasty as far as his party is concerned. In a way, he himself is concerned, and he has been insisting on that. But then look at people around him this time. Now, what has happened is the deputy chief minister,
Samrat Chaudhary.
Samrat Chaudhary, is a dynast. His father has been in almost ministers in all the other parties. The story of Kushwaha, just before
Upendra
Kushwaha, I was having a chat with our political editor, and he was saying very interesting stuff. He was saying, look, the Kushwaha's wife got a ticket and she contested and became an MLA.
Yeah.
So everybody thought perhaps she's going to be the minister. Like Jitaram Manji has made his son minister now, Hum party. Only one seat, and that was his son.
Yeah.
So Kushwaha, they thought that it's going to be his wife. But what turned out to be a surprise? Instead, his son was sworn in today. whereas he is not an MLA or MLC. But then since one MLC seat been allocated to, Kushwaha's party by BJP, probably he'll come through that route. So now he is surrounded by dynast. He may say, look, I'm not a dynast, but then he is going to be surrounded by a dynast. So he is going to be lily in the pond, surrounded. So that's going to be. So these are the issues in this cabinet which he has to face.
But don't you think he could also say that, look, I've got a coalition there in the center?
Yeah, true. That is true. See, BJP coalition, BJP is very much a double engine sarkar in the state as well as center, because it is JD's support, crucial support of 12 MPs which they are receiving in the center. No denying that. But on the other hand, the vulnerabilities of JD increases because they are in no position to break away from
Because he's no more the kingmaker.
He is no more the kingmaker. And if he has to do that, what is the option before him? Maybe he goes with Mahagathbandhan 35 seats. That's not enough. Then he'll have to also go with AIMIM. Now, how does he ensure all that? So it's going to be pretty tough. But the other thing is, more than him, more than JD, you start thinking about what they have to do. It is a Congress party which has to start worrying, because they have just 5 or 6 MLAs.
Yeah.
And whether the flock can be kept together. You see what happened in Gujarat. Congress almost vanished. Over a period of time, MLAs started joining BJP. When your party is weakened beyond a limit where it is unable to stand on its legs, these kind of things may also happen. So in that case, there is also a possibility that BJP further strengthening its footprint in Bihar. So, and they are in a better position to these things than Nitish himself. So Nitish is going to have a rearguard action for JD MPs as well, not just MLAs. He has to keep the flock together as well. So it's going to be, because even if let's for argument's sake say that there's going to be no hanky-panky, BJP is not going to indulge in any horse trading or any such thing, and they're going to deal with very professionally. Let's even consider that as a scenario. The sheer fact of so much of enormity of impact and the size of the party and dominance of BJP is going to be so overbearing that it'll be difficult for JD to keep its thing together, and especially Nitish, where a section of party men before this whole elections were even arguing whether how the coalition itself should shape. So therefore I'm laying out these things in front of you.
One last question there, sir. Is this going to be Nitish's last phase of his political career, or you see him sort of repositioning himself ahead of 2029?
Look, in politics, nobody can ever write off anyone. See, so no one ever can say with a certainty that someone's political career is reaching a certain stage.
There are concerns around his health.
Yeah, there are, because see, there is one thing about Nitish is that he has maneuvered it so well so far. But there are concerns also being expressed about his health. I really don't know about it. I won't go far into that field because I don't know much. But then he's been in 20 years in power. Does he have the energy to fight out things? Can he sit in opposition? Can he hit the streets? Can he do some alternate things if such a situation ever arises? Unlikely. Because he needs power, and even the coalition, other things he has managed to put together, by having various social sections gravitating towards him, all because he had power. So it's pretty interesting to watch how he's going to handle.
Sir, thank you very much.
Thank
Such
you.
a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.